All right, y'all. Welcome to Monday Night Raw. We here, we doing it. I got a brand new camera because the last one kind of died out on me. So just got to figure out, because it look bright as hell, don't it? It look hella bright right now. I'm like, I don't know if I need to be all lit up like that. Hold on. How's everybody doing? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me clearly. Let's see if we could do something about this. I feel like I look bright as hell on here. What's going on there? Here we go. Got some 1s in the chat. The title of this stream is Top Tier. True. Keto never made sense. Keto never made sense to me. Fruits are the most obvious gifts from nature. True. There we go. Juju, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Yes, ma'am. The picture quality is amazing. Yeah, right? I was like, yo, look at this camera. This camera putting in work. My mama do is tuning into the stream. Big shout out to her. My mama do is tuning in. Business as usual. Absolutely. Yeah, it does look bright, right? Hold on. Let me see if I can. Hold on. I'm like, what's going on? All right. I'm like, did I have to like step off camera a little bit or something? I don't know. The camera's like, you know what? You look dark. I was like, I'm not dark, I'm just brown. Y'all don't gotta light me up like that. Let me see, hold on a second. I don't want to lower it too much, that's a little too much. Tonight, I'm gonna be talking about I'm going to be getting a little bit more in depth about carb cutting, right? And talking a little bit more. I'm going to cut that candle. I'm doing some meal prep tonight also. And let's see, I got to cut pineapple, cantaloupe, and I'm going to boil some rice. And I'm going to boil some rice because I got some curry lentils. By the way, let me show y'all my curry lentil sauce. Look at this. So this right here is a half a cup of red lentils with curry seasoning, right? So I seasoned this. Basically what I did was I soaked the lentils in a mason jar with a sprouting lid like that. That's the rice in there that I'm about to cook. And then let the lentils expand and soften up a little bit. And then I boil them on a very low heat, right? And then once they've softened up, I drain out the extra water and I season it. I put in nutritional yeast, curry powder, cumin, garlic, sea salt, a little bit of raw sugar. What else I put? I put parsley, a pinch of black pepper, onion powder. And I think that's it. Right? And then just stir it up a little bit, and then I put it in the blender and I puree it in the blender, right? And then I add a little bit of water to get the right consistency. I want it real smooth because it's supposed to be like creamy, like a creamy lentil sauce that I pour over the lentils, right? So that's what this is. So I meal prep like a few of these jars. So I'll get like red lentils and I get them in bulk, and I can make a few of these, and I can make all of my red lentil sauces in these 16-ounce mason jars. And then I boil rice, and then I just pour this on top of the rice for my meal. So that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. And while the rice is boiling on the stove, here we go. While the rice is boiling on the stove, I'll be talking a little bit about what the topic is today. I know, right? I'm light bright. That's right. But yeah, so basically, and while I'm doing all of that, I'm going to be talking about the hormonal implications behind increasing carbs versus cutting carbs. And the reason why I feel so strongly about the whole carbohydrate thing is because I've seen the consequences of what happens when you cut carbs, right? So I haven't really seen there be any substantial benefit to cutting carbs. Or really cutting calories for that matter. I know that's a spicy take right there. People are like, what? You don't even believe in cutting calories? And I'm like, nah, not really. Not really. All right. So, you know, I want to take some time tonight to explain why. Be careful you don't burn your rice. It cooks fast. Yeah, it's been a while for me cooking rice, but you know, I think I got it. People might be saying too, rice? You cook rice? Yeah, I've just recently, it's been a long time since I've gotten rice. But let me get my pot out. But I actually I love rice though, honestly. And so for a while, I've gotten like a shortage of fruits. I got some fruits dripping dry in the sink actually, because I wash my fruits. Or I didn't wash these this time. It was my lady here, and she did it. So I was preoccupied with a few other things. So yeah, I put an abundance of water in here. There we go. Because the rice, I'm getting every last grain too. All right. See, now I feel like I look dark. I don't want to be putzing around with this thing too much. So yeah, I put my rice on a real low heat. And I put that there. And I put the lid on top of it to steam it up. That's right, everybody tuning in here in the chat. Oh, I forgot to put this in Discord. Oops. Hey D, can you do me a solid and actually post this in the Discord? For those tribe members that's in the Discord? Because I didn't do that. I was running a little bit behind today. So that's on me. All right, let's turn it up a little bit, not too much. I don't want to be putzing around. You see, like it'd be doing too much. I don't need to do all of that. All right. Now it look like I'm done died and gone to heaven. I don't need all of that. I got to get used to this camera settings because I would manually set all of my color settings and everything like that on my other camera. And that thing kind of just died on me. Oh, I think that was the sound of it being in the Discord. So yeah, carb cutting, right? Carb cutting is for suckers. It's because you have a lot of people on the internet, you know, fear-mongering about sugar and fear-mongering about carbs. You know, vegetables are gonna kill you, and vegetables have all kind of plant chemicals and toxins, and fruit has too much sugar and it's gonna make you fat and prevent you from losing weight. People say all of this kind of stuff, right? And I've had the privilege of having certain experiences where as a nutritionist, I've learned what happens when you put people with chronic illnesses on a fruit dominant diet, or even like a diet that is entirely fruit based, right? I know what happens when you do that, and you wouldn't believe, right? I mean, you can, within a couple of weeks, you can lower your A1C by like, you know, anywhere from 3 points to 5 points. It's actually really phenomenal what happens, right? I've had people reverse all type of autoimmune issues and everything like that, and lupus and Guillain-Barré and PCOS and Hashimoto's and all types of stuff. And I've had people come to me with Hashimoto's and we put them on like a fruit dominant diet, And we just go ahead and just reverse all kind of stuff. I've had people have all kind of food allergies, right? Where, you know, all types of food allergies and gut health issues and whatnot. We just go ahead and reverse all of that. And it don't take long, right? So I got like a 12-week mentorship that I've got running. And the reason why I decided to set it at 12 weeks is because typically it takes at least, you know, at the most, it takes 12 weeks to see all kind of really significant progress. Right? Truly phenomenal stuff. And one of the most interesting lessons that I've learned, and it took me a while to even realize this, is that actually a fruit-based diet can even be more effective. It can be even more effective than fasting, dare I say. Some of y'all may be hearing me say that and they go, what is more effective than fasting? Yeah. Fasting is a stressor, right? So if stress management is a thing that is your biggest struggle, then yeah, the fasting can actually make your issues worse, right? So that may be kind of counterintuitive, but this is what I'm saying, right? Cutting carbs is not really much of a benefit to doing that. So let's take something like testosterone. Let's take testosterone, erectile dysfunction, hypogonadism. Let's take those hormonal issues, right? So fellas, this is important for you, right? Now, yes, testosterone, you need fat in order to create testosterone. That is true, right? However, guess what else you need in order to create testosterone? Look, now this is all dark. What's going on? It's bright, it's dark, it's bright, it's dark. What we doing? So anyways, yeah, so basically, I'm gonna have to sort that out on my own, but essentially, you need carbs. So there's scientific data out. I mean, you can just do a Google search, and you Google search free testosterone, carbohydrates, right? And you'll see studies that pop up that shows that, yeah, when you increase carbohydrate consumption, it increases free testosterone. It increases total testosterone. So for men who have low testosterone, one of the best things that you can do is consume more carbs, right? I had to put the jazz on because that's a big part of my lifestyle. It's soothing to me because we live in a stressful world. So sometimes you got to put on some jazz and just chill out. But yeah, so erectile dysfunction. You eat more carbs. And of course, when I talk about carbohydrates, you know, I'm not talking about like carbs like Ritz crackers or whatever, or rice cakes. That's not what I'm talking about, right? Of course, I'm talking about food. If you're eating all kind of junk food, that don't really particularly count. That ain't it. All right, so I'm talking about something a little different. All right? Oh, actually? So there's particular reasons for this. So like, let's say, for example, you are a man with low testosterone. And so you have a fruit dominant diet. So your diet is going to be abundant in B vitamins, vitamin C, folate, very rich in water. And these are foods that are going to increase your insulin sensitivity, right? So it's very important to think about carbohydrates as money, right? So this is an example I always use when I talk to people, right? And I say, if you take a pay cut, guess what's going to happen to your spending habits? Your spending habits are going to decrease. Now, what happens when you cut your carbs? Your energy expenditure is going to decrease. And then your body is going to be less likely to create and synthesize the neurotransmitters, the hormones and whatnot that it normally would at an optimal rate. Because you got a bit of poverty going on. You took a big cut, you took a big energy cut. Hormonal synthesis is energy intensive. I mean, you even need energy to go to sleep at night. So if you don't get enough and carbohydrates is the primary source of energy, glucose really. So you consume carbohydrates break down into glucose, and that your body uses that glucose for energy, right? So you need an abundance of glucose in order to power all the cells in your body. All the cells in your body pretty much run on glucose. Your cells don't really run on fat for energy, right? And most of your cells don't store fat, and they shouldn't, right? Because that's actually pathological. So you think about like the storage inside skeletal muscle tissue should be no more than 1% of skeletal muscle tissue. More than that, you get into diabetes, right? It's excess ectopic fat, right? You store too much fat in your liver, fatty liver disease, right? Store too much fat in your tongue, you got a fatty tongue, right? You get sleep apnea, these types of things. You get a narrowing airway. All of these nasty things happen as a result of excess fat storage, right? Carbohydrates, however, well, your body's always burning through that real quick. Now, here's the interesting thing that happens, right? Because your testosterone is related to insulin sensitivity and glucose uptake and energy expenditure, right? And that directly feeds into your thyroid output. So you see people with like hypothyroidism. Typically, if you're dealing with hypothyroidism, chances are you don't eat that often. Maybe you eat in the morning and then you eat at night as your last meal. Or maybe you don't eat all day and then you just eat before bed, right? I've worked with a lot of people who have a hypothyroid. They have hypothyroidism, right? And they don't eat that much. They struggle to lose the weight and they don't eat that much. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is I'm gonna just kind of work the weight off with exercise. It doesn't work that way, right? All that really gets you is you wear out your joints, right? Because if you have a whole bunch of excess body weight on you, and you're doing all types of high intensity exercises, stepping up and down, jumping and stepping up and stepping down and jumping to the side and jumping and skipping and pulling and pushing and doing all of this type of stuff, wearing your body out, and you barely eat, well, a lack of energy and then an increased output of energy is going to make your body worse, because your body's going to resist that. You're creating a conflict within your body because you want to do all of this extra work, but then you've had these hormonal issues where you need more energy in order to resolve the hormonal issues, because the hormonal issues is the thing that makes it so hard for you to lose the weight. You can't outwork hormonal issues, right? There's no workout you can do that's going to fix your hormonal issues. That's not really how that works, right? You can't outwork hormonal issues. If you're struggling to lose weight, it's usually because it's a hormonal issue, a gut health issue, a blood flow issue, right? And then all of these things usually stem from some type of hitch in your pH, right? Where there's a lack of, you're not filtering enough toxins out of your bloodstream through your kidneys, right? And for a lot of people, especially women, this is like one of the primary examples of anxiety. So it causes anxiety, right? So your adrenal glands get ramped up and elevated because that's supposed to upregulate your kidney filtration, right? To flush more toxins out. So as your adrenal glands dial up, your kidneys will then open up to release more toxins, right? So that you can start to decongest your cells. However, if your diet and lifestyle is not conducive to that, then it just doesn't work. So if you eat like an abundance of like pineapple, honeydew, cantaloupe, these things, like these foods that I'm gonna get into cutting up here, that I'm gonna get into. Let's start with this here. Yeah, we got some honeydew here. And I don't want to stray too far from the testosterone issue, because testosterone is directly related to insulin sensitivity, right? Unlike women, men, we don't have like the progesterone and the estrogen that we can lean on in order to survive our toughest times. If your testosterone crashes and it's subpar, you're on the clock. That's a very dangerous situation, right? That's why you have men that be dying out of nowhere, right? Like you get some type of health complication, and next thing you know, that thing just rapidly just goes off the rails real quick. You just end up dying out of nowhere. So eating more carbs or eating more fruit is like getting a pay increase. All right, look at this, by the way. Y'all see that? Look at how beautiful that looks. Isn't that amazing? Look how neat that is. Y'all see that? Amazing. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna try something. Yeah, see, that's too dark. This is bothering me. That's not like I got ADD or something like that. I got like some type of problem. Because the old camera, I had to add a little extra light because it wasn't like, you know, it didn't do very well in low light situations. All right. So let's see, does that work? Is that better? Because I feel like I'm being blinded. All right. Let me catch up with y'all in the chat too. Oh yeah, that's right. And I got to pull up the comments on my phone. Where's my phone at? It's around here somewhere. But yeah, so basically, eating more carbohydrates like this honeydew, it's like getting a pay increase. And when your body gets a pay increase, it goes, ooh, you know what? I can use this extra glucose and I can increase testosterone output, right? Well, I got this extra energy. I can raise the frequency in the body, and that'll speed up that'll speed up the process of eliminating toxins from your bloodstream. Because in order to detoxify the body, you have to have something going in, right? Because the way that toxins are filtered through your body is in order to have toxins leave your body, you have to have something push it out, right? It's a very important thing to understand. Your body's not going to just relieve toxins without anything going in, right? So, funny fact, you know what, actually, you can test this out too. Like if you have like a mold poisoning and fasting, not really a great combination, right? One of the best ways to actually, reverse mold poisoning is to eat more, specifically like your fruits and things like that, because mold thrives in an environment where there's a lot of dead or old damaged things to eat, right? Mold doesn't really thrive in a high vibrational living environment. Mold doesn't do particularly well in that environment, right? That's why mold or fungi has to grow on something that's like either dead or dying, right? So if you increase the vibration, which is basically the life bar inside your body, you increase the vibration in your body. When I say vibration, and I say words like frequency, I don't mean that as like a spiritual thing. I mean that as like a mathematical, biological thing, right? So you have things like iron, potassium, calcium, magnesium, manganese. These things are alkalizing to the body. These minerals, they increase the frequency or the vibration in your body, right? So that's what I'm referring to. All right. So basically you get more of that currency, you get more water, you get more carbs. And the beauty about fruit is it's not like starchy. So your body can use the carbs and get to the carbs really quickly, right? That's why people they say, oh, when you eat fruits, the sugar hits your bloodstream too quickly. And so you got to eat more complex carbs. They misunderstand the glucose hits your bloodstream quicker, yeah, but it also, that glucose gets taken up by your cells quicker also. Right? So that's a thing really to consider. Whereas you can eat, starchier foods where the glucose hits your bloodstream slower, but it also takes longer for your blood sugar to come down, right? So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. But the thing is that, if you got gut health issues and you eat like really starchy foods, you may get more gas and bloating and things like that the more that you eat, right? This is usually why I tell people, hey, in the evening, that's when you can have more of like your starchier foods and things like that, right? Because you can go to sleep on it. Fruits lower your blood sugar actually, because fruits is like the fastest thing. I don't think there is any macronutrient that you can eat that increases your insulin sensitivity faster than fruit. Fruit is like the number one food, especially for like diabetics, because it's just water and glucose, right? And you can essentially use water and glucose to reverse diabetes. That's why juice fasting is so effective for reversing chronic illnesses and metabolic disorders like diabetes. Right? So, and there's scientific data on this, right? So we know what induces diabetes and what reverses it, right? So we know that the more saturated fat you eat, the more mitochondrial disruption you get, right? This is like the biggest problem, by the way, when it comes to like processed foods, you know, or like dairy and things like that, because of the saturated fat. So you have a lot of people who are obsessed with putting meat in their mouth. They'll get mad at me for saying that, but I'm like, look, the data is what it is, right? The data is what it is. If I'm wrong, I challenge you, go ahead and eat a potato and then check your blood sugar, see what happens, right? So you can brag about your low blood sugar all you want, but go ahead and eat a potato, see what happens, right? You're gonna have lower blood sugar if you never eat carbs, right? However, they don't necessarily work out that way for a lot of people. Some people they do really well in the beginning, and then their blood sugar numbers just start climbing out of nowhere, and they're like, I was doing so well, I haven't changed anything, I don't know what happened. Chickens come home to roost. So I've had guys with like, you know, low libido, low testosterone and things like this, and we put them on a carbohydrate dominant diet. We got them eating like you know, 400 to 500 grams of carbs a day and just pounding melons, and they're like, oh man, I feel amazing, this is crazy. They were like, man, I knew you knew what you was talking about, but I didn't know it worked like that. And I'm like, yeah. So they could be eating, you know, 3,200 calories a day and all of this, and losing weight and getting better sleep and all of this type of stuff, and they eat way more. You know, you have guys who, you know, they eat like 1,800 calories a day, they eating 2,000 calories a day, and I'm like, well, you know, you need to be eating a lot more than that. That's poverty. I mean, if you think about it, like your liver holds like 140 grams of carbs, 130, something like that. Your liver doesn't hold that much glucose at one time. So if you're just like, you know, eating 150 grams or 200 grams of carbs a day, that's not enough to fill your muscle glycogen. That's not really enough to feed your brain. That's barely enough to even fill the glycogen stores of your liver. Right? I mean, your brain eats it. Your brain uses like 25% of all the glucose, all the carbs you consume. Right? A quarter of it. A whole 25%. Let me bag this up right quick. I gotta go find my phone so I can check them comments. Let me see here. I see those videos all over the place these days, especially right after your videos. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that's right. Big shout out to you, D. D know what I'm talking about, where you eat more carbs. You know what I'm talking about. What's the link to this jazz playlist? Well, there's no link to it. It's on my computer. What do I think about liver flushes? I could talk a little bit about liver flushes, right? Or I don't know what you mean by liver flush. But yeah, like for example, a fruitarian diet can be a liver flush. right? When people talk about liver flushes, they're usually talking about herbs. You know, like certain herbs like burdock are really good for your liver, for flushing your liver, flushing toxins out of your liver. You've got milk thistle, dandelion root. What else? Yeah, milk thistle, dandelion root, basil, burdock. What else? Yellow dock. Things like that. Celery juice, right? There's that. Watermelon. It's these types of things, right? But then also, you reduce the amount of fat that you have in your diet, right? So that you're not, storing fat, extra fat in your liver. I'm gonna try to pack this bag as much as I can. And then, oh, what's that fell in here? Here we go. So things like that. So your diet can be a liver flush. It just depends. Like if you have a diet, like a fruitarian diet, and you mix that with like herbs, yeah, that's like a liver flush. But you can't really flush your liver and not your kidneys, right? Because you'd have to increase the filtration going on through your kidneys in order to really flush your liver, right? Because you can't flush your liver and dump toxins out of your liver and then have congested kidneys that don't function right. Because then basically where do the toxins go if they can't leave your body through your kidneys and they just got dumped out of your liver, right? Does that spill over into your blood and poison your cells? All right, so you got to be aware of that. All right. Put that there in the meantime. Yeah, this rice it's getting there. It's bubbling up. Uh-oh. I got to replace these earphones. I just replaced a camera. Oh boy. 2025 is getting expensive. So yeah, but I think ultimately, having a diet that's really geared towards flushing your liver and improving kidney function, I would recommend that for everybody. So like this honeydew, is a great food for that. Cantaloupe, great food for that. Grapes, kiwis, grapefruit, great foods for that. I asked a couple days ago and you replied, but wonder if you can go into detail. I remember. Yeah, so when I make green smoothies, it really hurts my stomach. Any tips? Yeah, so basically I don't really recommend green smoothies necessarily, right? I thought you were asking me about protein shakes. I don't really recommend. I think you should eat your greens. Or maybe like juice your greens, like certain greens you can run them through a juicer. I think you may be putting too much greens in the smoothie, and it could just be a bit too much. I messed that up. But yeah, so I don't really recommend that. If it's always bothering your stomach, it could just be your gut's not really handling the cruciferous fiber very well that's being thrown in that smoothie. So that could be really causing you issues. Right? So yeah, I wouldn't really do green juices. You really, people overestimate leafy greens a lot. Like leafy greens are great, but they're great up until a point because some people don't really have a good tolerance for the insoluble fiber content of leafy greens, right? Like the greens it's a lot of roughage moving through your gut. And so that roughage, that insoluble fiber moving through your digestive tract can be a bit of an irritant, right? And so when that hits your stomach, especially if you don't have the necessary digestive enzymes for it, like if you're lacking amylase, for example, or you're not producing enough stomach acid, that can really mess with your gut, right? So you can get like bloated and gassy and whatnot. Like it could just be some brutal stuff. because of all that insoluble fiber. It's just too much, right? That's why I never really recommend things like I don't recommend like psyllium husk, right? Like fiber supplements. I don't really recommend things like that because it's problematic for a lot of people. So I generally don't recommend things like that. I'm more of a whole food person. I think, herbal teas, juices, and whole foods. I think you can't go wrong with that. If you're gonna do a smoothie, the smoothies would be like, for like protein smoothies, right? Like if you're using like a protein powder or something like that, I think that's a great reason for a smoothie, right? I'm surprised y'all not in the comments joking on me about how I cut fruit and how I'm gonna cut my fingers off and whatnot. Because people like to leave them comments in my videos like, I was terrified for your fingers. Or maybe I'm just doing it better this time. I'm getting a little bit more. I don't look as awkward. Because this knife be close to my hand and my fingers, I know. But it works. You're making it work. So yeah, I mean, what's interesting even too with, because basically, if you want your body to change or do something, you have to give it the incentive to do it, basically. Usually people's problems is that they don't have enough energy to deal with the stress of their life. So it's either sleep deprivation or you're not getting enough energy in your diet, right? Dietary fat is not really an energy source, right? So when you increase the amount of fat you eat, that's not going to give you more energy because your body doesn't really use fat for energy in any significant way, right? Fat is only really used for energy at rest, right? However, if your body needs to produce a whole bunch of different resources, like your body needs to make different types of proteins and hormones and all of this type of stuff, and you cut your carbs too steep, your body just doesn't have the energy to do it. And that's like people's primary problems. You just need to eat more carbs. And if the starchy foods are bothering your gut and all of that, you may need to eat more fruits because that sounds like dehydration, right? Like, so dehydration could be your primary issue. That's the case for a lot of people. So fruit will solve your dehydration problem and solve your low energy problem. Now, some people will say to me, I tried the all fruit thing and I was just hungry and tired all the time. And I'm like, well, it's probably because you wasn't eating enough. So for example, if you're hungry and tired, just understand that you're giving your body such small amounts of fruit at a time. And your body's like, come on, man, stop playing. Right? Like, if you make a bowl of cereal, or, this, like, let's say you open up some cornflake cereal, right? You open up some cornflake cereal, you're like, yeah, I'm about to get into this cereal. And then you get like 10 cornflakes and you pour it into a bowl. And then you fill the bowl with milk. You can be like, what the hell? All this milk, where the cereal at? That's pretty much like, if you don't be no grown man and be like, I'm gonna do an all fruit diet and then have like 4 pieces of honeydew and then be like, I'm tired and hungry all the time. It's like, cause you ain't eating enough. Like, don't eat 4 ounces and think that that's a meal. Like, you gotta at least eat 16 ounces and even that's too small. Right? Like, this 16 ounces of honeydew is probably like a couple 100 calories or something like that. It's not really a significant amount of food because it's mostly water. You're dealing with foods that are like 80 to 90% water. You got to eat a lot more. And the thing is that the more fruit you eat, the more insulin sensitive you become, and it happens really quickly. So that hunger and that tiredness, that's your blood sugar dropping because you're so used to being insulin resistant and not eating. And so now you're becoming insulin sensitive. So you eat some fruit and your body takes that up real quick. And so your cells pull all of that glucose out of your bloodstream. And then once that happens, your blood sugar falls off a cliff. Because if your cells have been starving for glucose, once you eat foods that increase your insulin sensitivity, them cells are going to suck that It's gonna suck that glucose right up. And it'll drop your blood sugar. Then you're like, damn, I'm hungry. And yeah, you gotta eat more. You gotta keep feeding your body. You gotta actually fuel your cells. Think about like, you know, you gotta fill up a gas tank, right? So that's like you driving a car and it takes like $40 to fill up the tank. Depending on where you are. It might be like $50, $60 to fill up your tank. And you going $5 to $5, you're gonna be stopping at gas stations all the time because you ain't filling up. Eat with it. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Get a full meal going. You gotta get a full. Let's see. My man Ricardo's in the chat. What's going on, brother? What time does the live start now? Like around 7 o'clock. I set it for 7 o'clock. Can fats from nuts and seeds, like almonds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, and Brazil nuts damage the liver? No. In my experience, I haven't known of nuts and seeds having any kind of negative effect on your liver. I haven't heard of that. They actually help your liver, right? Because these nuts and seeds contain a type of fat called polyunsaturated fat, right? In the scientific literature, the abbreviation for this is PUFA, right? So you can look up the effects of PUFA on your liver, right? So you can probably type in studies, polyunsaturated fat liver health, right? Or polyunsaturated fat, fatty liver disease, polyunsaturated fat, insulin resistance, right? Like these are the key words that will lead you to the studies to read up on this stuff, right? So like when I do research, I'll look up like certain keyword terms, right? So people, and the reason why I chose to talk about this today too is because I'll have people that say, there's no such thing as essential carbs, right? I always find that to be like a weird term to make, right? Like, it's not essential to eat every day either, right? When we say essential, it's not essential to make $140,000 a year, right? Like you could get by on $60,000 a year. You could. It's not essential that you make six figures. However, that's not like, hey, you know, I don't make six figures because I don't need to. But if you had the opportunity to make six figures and it would just enhance your life and there's really no negative return for doing it, why would you not? Like that word need does a lot of heavy lifting, right? Like if I increase my carbohydrate consumption and that improves my training performance, muscle growth, hormonal profile, weight loss, sleep quality, brain function, learning ability with neuroplasticity and all this type of stuff, improves my mental health, emotional health, skin quality, hair and nail growth, vision. Well, why would I cut my carbs? It's like nothing but, it gives me nothing but a positive return. Why would I cut my carbs? And if I cut my carbs, I'm gonna replace my carbs with what? Like, oh, you need more protein. Protein is not an energy source. So if you cut your carbs and you increase the protein amount, you're just creating an energy shortage, right? So people are like, oh, you get real lean with a high protein, low carb diet. You can. Do you necessarily? Most people don't, but you can, depending on what your lifestyle is and where your health was when you started. So you can, but the reason why is because your body's basically burning through stored fat as much as it can in order to utilize the protein that you're eating, right? So you have like protein and fats, that increases glucagon and reduces insulin output in your pancreas. So that can trigger more lipolysis, which is fat metabolism. Yeah, that works, but at what cost? Right? So like, if you're struggling to lose weight, the goal shouldn't really necessarily be to lose weight. It should be to improve your metabolic health and hormonal profile. That's what your goal should actually be, right? Your goal shouldn't really be, oh, I just want to lose weight. So you don't want to like improve your metabolism, your mitochondrial function, your hormones, all that type of stuff. You just want to just weigh less on the scale. So we got to be a bit more nuanced about these things. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so I read that. Hey coach, miss you. I'll be happy to see you're still teaching. Yeah, I didn't go anywhere. I'm still around. I'm right there in the Discord, bro. That's right. We still in here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be like in my 70s, still doing this. What are your opinions on legumes like chickpeas, lentils, etc., and how often should we eat them? I mean, you could eat them every day, right? So you eat your fruits and whatnot throughout the day, and then you have your legumes and whatnot at night. Oh, that's right. You know what I should do? Yeah, that's what I should do. Soak some oats. Hold on. So yeah, I think that, you can have those things on a daily basis or every other day. It depends on what your goals are, what you're trying to do. I gotta get more lentils. I'm almost out. Yeah, this is for my overnight oats. So I fill this up to the 12 ounce line. All right, so let's see. Yeah, this is how I do it. This is why I like the fact these jars, they got like the line. So that's how I measure. A little bit more. So basically the 12 ounce line is like a cup and a half essentially. A little bit more. I got a little too carried away. There we go. All right. All right, let's see here. Thank you so very much. I appreciate your knowledge and work, King. Appreciate you. I listen every day when in the gym. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you may want to hit the link in the description of this video and get on the 12-week mentorship, right? Or become a community member. How about the daily amount of plant protein? Is it the same as meat eaters or more? They say 1 gram of protein for the ideal body weight. If I'm 150 and want to be 130, then 130 grams of protein? No, it doesn't really particularly work like that. One of the biggest critiques of like plant-based protein from plant-based foods is that you don't absorb all of the protein. Like there's a lack of bioavailability, right? Which is not necessarily a bad thing. Right? So your body regulates how much of the protein you absorb, which is beneficial, right? But if you have like a diet that is mostly like fruits and things like these rolled oats and kasha and sweet potato and chickpeas and rice and lentils and things like this, and then you make fruit a core component of your diet, from where you get the bulk of your water and whatnot from, you don't really particularly have to worry about eating too much protein. And then if you need to get more protein in your diet and you feel like you're not getting enough protein in your diet, it's probably because you're not eating enough. So as far as the protein thing is concerned, it's 1 gram of protein per kilogram of lean mass. right? So you don't calculate grams of protein per pound of body weight, right? Yeah, I'm gonna rinse that again. So that's one of the things that's very important, right? Because when you eat protein, you're using the protein to fuel your lean mass, not your fat mass. So you don't calculate your total body weight in that calculation because you're not feeding your total body weight with the protein, right? But generally speaking, when you're eating in abundance, like no one really has like a protein deficiency, right? It's not really a thing. The only way to develop a protein deficiency is under eating, right? Get another one of these lids. Oh yeah, that's right. And take that rice off the burner. Here we go. So yeah, basically, if you want to be 130 pounds, you would divide 130 by 2.2, and that would give you your weight in kilograms, or your target weight in kilograms. Right? So you can do it that way. Generally speaking, for men, I think a good target protein goal is anywhere from 80 to 120 grams of protein a day. 120 is a lot. That's like 1.6 grams. Most men need anywhere between 60 and 80 grams. Women, it could be anywhere typically between 40 and 60, right? However, a lot of the diet plans that I make, men get around anywhere from 90 to 100 or 110. Women get anywhere from 60 to 80. That's pretty much how it shakes out when I create diet plans. All right. So we got some steamy rice here. And I'm actually hungry. I didn't eat my last meal of the day. I'm gonna wait for that rice to cook. So let me clean this spoon off right quick. So what's interesting too is that carbohydrates are very thermogenic. So the more carbs you eat, the more calories you burn. Right? If you notice, when you cut your food intake or you do like alternate day fasting, you burn less calories on your fasting days, right? Even if you exercise more, you still burn less calories. So when you eat more carbs, you burn more calories, even if you exercise less, right? All right, let's see, how's that? It's still a little moist. Still a little moist. So I'll put it on for a little bit more. I'm hungry, man. I'm ready to eat. So like, this is also why like you can't get fat from carbs. Like a lot of people think you can get fat or like not be able to lose weight because you're eating too much carbs. It's actually not true when you understand facts like that. All right, let's see. I agree 1,000%. Cutting carbs is for schmucks. Amino acids feed the muscle fibers to keep them healthy, strong, to build muscle. The main thing that builds muscle is carbohydrates. I've done videos on this. I'm telling people, like, if you want to increase muscle mass, carbohydrates. So the interesting thing is that your body will adapt to whatever you eat. Basically what happens is your body stores glucose inside your muscle tissue in the form of glycogen, right? So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If you eat more carbs, your body will get better at storing and utilizing carbs because that's what you're training your body to do. Because your diet essentially trains your body to operate a particular way. That's what your body trains you to do. I mean, that's what you if you want to make these changes to your body, basically you can train your body through your diet. Is that wet underneath there? Yeah. Let me see here. So when you eat more carbs, your body has to basically dial up the energy expenditure, right? So you have basically carbs coming in, and that will basically, signal to your body to actually use more of that energy that's inside your cells, right? Like I tell people, if you get a 20% pay increase, guess what's going to happen to your spending habits? They're going to increase. So it doesn't make sense, the assumption that if your glycogen stores are full and you get more glycogen in, that your caloric burn is not going to change. It's not how that works, right? It's the same thing of like, if I fill a cup, if I have a 12-ounce cup and I fill it with 12 ounces of water, and then I add another ounce of water to that cup, the water is going to overflow, right? It's going to come out. So it's basically water displacement, right? Essentially the same thing happens in your body with carbs. So the more carbs you put in, your energy expenditure increases, right? It's like an overflowing. So, carbs don't spill out of your body necessarily, but your body increases energy output, right? This is the reason why your sleep quality improves, your insulin sensitivity improves, because your body gets a green light. Hey, turn up the insulin sensitivity because we got more carbs coming in, so we have more energy to use. So your hair grows more, your skin becomes more durable, more firm, your body produces more collagen, your body releases extra toxins, you get more muscular growth, you get more bone density, your body will shuttle and store more minerals inside your bone mass and all of this type of stuff, right? So your body just goes into, it's kind of like you have a factory, and then you get more staff members working in the factory. You get more output, right? So that's essentially how it works. You have to think about nutrition in economic terms, right? All right. So this is how I think about it. I think about it more so in economic terms. This is a simple way to talk about it, right? You view carbohydrates as energy. And, all metabolic issues and illnesses stem from a lack of energy, the necessary energy to keep things balanced. All right. Do I need to get I'm gonna get a big spoon. Hold on. I gotta clean a spoon. Let me tell you something. This is about to be so good right here. By the way, folks, if y'all enjoy the stream, like the stream to like the stream. Like the stream to like the stream. All right. Let's get that off of there. There we go. So what I'm going to do with this meal, a nice dietary hack that I do personally is I'll add like around 20 grams of fat to a meal. All right, check this out. Hold on a second. This is curry sauce. So y'all see this? Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna use all of it too because I'm greedy. This is spicy, rich curry lentil sauce. This is amazing. I'm freaking stoked right now. All right. Oh, that's so good. It's insanely good. Oh my God. I'm not going to be gross on the stream and do what I normally do, which is lick the inside of the jar like a lunatic. I'm not going to do that. Because y'all don't want to see me here watching the stream. Y'all just watching me lick a jar. You're like, this man is insane. He's a jar licker. All right. So my sunflower seed kernels. Now sprinkle that on like that. Oh yeah. That's that vitamin E. Get some good fats in there. Extra thiamine. Let me see if I can, hold on. I don't want to spill this on the laptop. So, okay, y'all see that now? Yeah. Let me see. Can it focus? All right. Hopefully y'all can see that. If y'all want me to get a little closer, let me know. I can try to figure out the angle there. What about malabsorption when you first start trying to eat fruit? Malabsorption of what? People typically don't have malabsorption issues with fruit. How big are you in reference to organic fruits? What percentage of conventional to non for you? That's a good question. Yeah, so basically I think that you should try to eat as organic as possible, right? But mainly if you had to prioritize, if you had to prioritize foods that you should and shouldn't get organic. So like, for example, honeydew, I may not necessarily get organic all the time if I can't get it. But apples, always get apples organic. Pears, always get apples organic. What else have I got here that should be organic? Yeah. So basically anything that you eat the skin, you'd want to get that organic. All right, I'm about to taste this. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, that's good stuff. Just tuning in, I always forget you're on Eastern time. Ella from the bakery, what's going on? Good to see you. Ella with the bakery. That's right. Let's see, I actually had to cut down on the fruit and add more greens because I gained 6 pounds. I gained 6 pounds, eat 80% of fruit and only 20% of greens. For women over 40, we need 60% greens and 40% fruit. I'd be very interested. Did you find that out through a study or something like that says that? That's like a very specific recommendation. But I'm also trying to understand. So when you say 20% of greens, so 80% of your diet is fruit and 20% is greens, do you mean that like calorie-wise? Because that's very difficult to achieve calorically, because greens are not that calorie-rich. So yeah, I'm kind of curious about what you mean by 20% greens after 40. You mean physiologically 40 or chronologically 40? What do you mean by that? Because I'd be very interested to know where you get that from. Because I could be learning something new here. What are your opinions on legumes, chickpeas, lentils, beans? Okay, yeah, I answered that already. Opinions on alkaline diet and the whole acidic forming foods. Yeah, so basically, everything I advocate for essentially is an alkaline diet. Right? So a big part of alkalizing your body, well, there's two big parts: water, oxygen. The more you hydrate your body, the more you increase oxygen uptake. Then you have like minerals and vitamins and things like that, and amino acids that help to increase oxygen uptake. Oxygen alkalizes your cells. So you have like positively charged ions and negatively charged ions. Positively charged ions imply energy expenditure, right? Like a byproduct of energy expenditure. This is like positively charged ions. And it usually leaves the body, right? And you have negatively charged ions that actually power the body, right? So think about like a battery, and it has these plus and minus, right? Like negative and positive poles, right? So you go on the front end, you got the positive, that plus sign, and then you got the back end is like the minus sign. And the energy flows through the battery that way. So the energy flows in through the butt and then out through the top and recycles through like some type of electrical device, right? And so basically you have like these minerals that conduct energy. So like, for example, in the body, magnesium, sodium, potassium, calcium, these different minerals that are used to maintain the structure, kind of like a scaffolding almost, right? To maintain the structure of your cells. And they conduct energy, so energy flows through your body, and that energy flow is being facilitated by those minerals, right? So the minerals are very important for, conducting of energy. I keep saying that. And then oxygen is like it's an important environmental factor that is needed in order to have electrical energy and thermogenic energy move through your body, right? And then you have water, which is the vehicle to basically shuttle oxygen into your body and into your cells, right? So this is where you get like this whole thing that people say about alkaline water. Alkaline water essentially is oxygenated water, right? And so you have oxygenated water that allows like a higher frequency water. And oxygenated water is either oxygenated or kind of electrified, so to speak, through an actual electrical current going through the water. And so like, for example, if you have like an alkaline water machine, there would be an electrical current that would move through the machine, and then it would split the alkaline side of the water with the negatively charged ions and the positively charged ions apart from each other. And then the machine would give you the alkaline water, right? It either happens that way, or you have alkaline water that essentially is mineralized water. So that water usually comes from a spring or something like that, where the water is alkalized because it's running through mineralized rocks and things like that, right? And so you have movement, and then you have the minerals, and then you have oxygen being absorbed into the water in that whole process, and that alkalizes the water, right? So like when you think of like a spring or something like that, it implies mineral richness, movement, and fresh oxygen going into the water, right? And there's like some type of rocks or earth matter that's filtering the water, right? So that's essentially what that is. Now, of course, there's a difference between foods that are acidic and foods that are acidifying, or foods that are alkalizing and foods that are alkaline. So for example, like a lime. A lime is pretty acidic on the pH scale. Yeah, like limes and lemons and whatnot, they're like a 2 or something like that on the pH scale. It's not an acidic food. Like it doesn't increase the amount of acid in your body. It doesn't really work that way, right? It's alkalizing, right? Because limes, contain the minerals that help to alkalize your body, right? So in the digestive process, your body will take those micronutrients from that food and use them to alkalize your body, right? Acidic foods are usually foods that are like high in fat and protein. So the fats break down into fatty acids. The protein breaks down into amino acids. And then your body has to neutralize those acids by taking those fatty acids and converting them into something else, or taking those amino acids and converting them into something else, right? So your body has like these internal pH regulation that happens on its own. It's just that an alkalizing diet or an alkaline diet makes it easier to maintain adequate pH in the body. So the rice that's in here, this is a half a cup of rice that I made. This is curry lentils. So it's a lentil sauce. So what I do is I soak the lentils and then I boil them on a low heat. And then at the end of the boiling process, I drain out the excess water while the lentils are still in the pot. And then I season the lentils in the pot and I stir it and mix all the seasonings in. And then I put the lentils with the seasonings and everything in a blender. And then I puree the lentils with the seasonings and everything in the blender. And I'll add a little bit of water just for consistency, for texture, because I want it to be like smooth and creamy. So I puree it in the blender until it gets smooth and creamy and it's not clumpy. And then I put that in like a 16-ounce mason jar. And I make my rice and I just pour the curry lentil sauce on top of the rice. Gained 6 pounds of fat from fruit. I doubt that's what's happening. Yeah, I mean, I would be really interested in the 20 ounces, the 20% greens thing. I'm curious about that. Meal-wise, so I would eat 3 meals a day. 2 meals would be just fruit, and then 1 meal salad with my daily calories being 2,000 to 2,100. So once I switch to 2 meals, veggies and 1 fruit, 2,000 to 2,100 calories may be like the lowest you should go, depending on what your body composition is. And this happens after I hit the age of 40. I was 80% fruit and 20% veggies for 3 years. Before that, I had no problem with my weight. So it was a normal change in it. Oh, okay. Yeah, so basically from your leafy green vegetables, if you get a lot of leafy green vegetables in, you get more insoluble fiber, so you get more roughage. So you probably gained that weight from not clearing out your colon that effectively, right? So it could be that. But also if you're eating 2,000 to 2,100 calories, it depends on what your weight and height is, where you may need to eat more than that, right? So it really depends. I don't know what your body composition is, so it's tough to say. But the leafy green vegetables, if the leafy green vegetables is causing you to drop that extra weight, it's probably the leafy greens are helping you to clear out your colon more because you're getting more of that insoluble fiber. One thing you should keep in mind too is skeletal muscle mass. Whatever isn't growing is dying. So one of the most important things that you can do in your life is work to build more muscle mass, right? Because if you're not working to build muscle mass, you'll gradually, every year, you lose like around 1%. of your skeletal muscle, right? So like once you hit like 40, every year, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. It may not necessarily be 1%. It may be a bit higher or low, depending on your lifestyle, how much you eat and how active you are and your sleep quality and all of that. But if you're losing skeletal muscle, you end up putting on more body fat. Because the skeletal muscle is a very important part of maintaining insulin sensitivity, right? So that's the thing to really consider also, right? You also want to make sure that you're getting like a full nutrient profile from your diet, right? So you get all of your carbohydrates, but then you can also get really good fat sources like avocado, right? Nuts and seeds. And then there's not a whole lot of fatty plant-based foods. Plant-based foods are almost entirely carbohydrates. But you know, your sunflower seed kernels, pumpkin seed kernels, cashews, almonds, walnuts, avocado, these types of things. So you get like your omega-3, your omega-6 essential fatty acids, and these types of things, right? You're getting more vitamin E. Vitamin E is actually very important for women, right? What was I going to say? Vitamin K. You get a lot of vitamin K from your leafy green vegetable. You also get a lot of calcium from leafy green vegetables like kale. Kale is a really good source of calcium, right? So calcium, copper, iron, potassium, vitamin K. Those are some things, those are things you get a lot from leafy green vegetables. As far as leafy green vegetables are concerned though, in your food, about 5 to 7 ounces is enough. You really don't need to do more than that, right? So you get a bit of a limited return the more leafy greens you do, right? Do I eat tofu? On occasion. On occasion. Do I eat so? Yeah, so basically I eat like nuts and seeds, dry roasted mainly, right? I don't really soak them or anything like that, unless I'm gonna make like a plant-based milk or something. Or a sauce. What did you say? I wasn't fat from fruit? From fruit. It was from too much sugar from the fruit. It stores differently at 40. Well, you said you're 155, 506 pounds. Oh yeah. So basically, you know, it's really interesting too, because you can tell whether or not if you're gaining body fat or not, or if you're gaining it in the wrong places. Your waist measurement. So like your waist measurement, your waist to hip ratio is a great way to determine how much muscle mass on you. So as a woman, a good ratio is where your waist and your hips are about an 8 to 12 inch difference, right? If your hips are too close to your waist in measurement, right, that goes to show you that you can fix your gut health and improve and things like that. But I think that if you're 5'6", 155 pounds, 2,100 calories is not really enough to gain weight necessarily, right? So a lot of the weight gain actually happens too because you're not eating enough. That happens a lot of the times for people. But generally speaking, it is a way to train to gain muscle mass, right? So like, if you're beyond the age of 40, doing long extended workouts and training very frequently can actually do more harm than good. So for me personally, I'm a big fan of like minimalistic high intensity training. So your workouts can be anywhere from like 15 to 30 minutes, right? I can get like a full back workout where I work out my lats, my rhomboids, trapezius, rear delts, all of that in a few minutes. It can be like 5 minutes, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. right? Where basically each exercise I do is like max effort. So I can train 2 or 3 muscle groups in a day, and each muscle group can take me anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes per muscle group, depending on like how much time I spend in between setting up for another exercise or whatever the case is, right? So once you work out like 20, 30 minutes is like plenty of time. You start going beyond that, you end up breaking your body more than necessary. So it can cause more harm than good. So if you don't really eat that much, you eat like 3 meals a day. I think like 2,000 calories is like the minimum. If anything, it would make more sense to actually increase the amount of food that you eat, and get more like steady state cardio in. Like go for more walks. You can increase your resistance training to 4 times a week, and then switch to full body training. Full body training is more intense on the body. So full body training, you train your legs and then you train your upper body. So basically what happens is you ramp up nervous system activation in all of your different muscle groups. And so that significantly increases the metabolic processes in your body. If you just train one muscle group, it's like very localized training. It's not that intense. So you're not gonna get like a significant like caloric burn from that. But if you do full body training, you're training all of your body, like neck and toes, right? Everything in between neck and toes. Shoulders, front, side, rear delts, traps, rhomboids, lats, glute medius, max, hamstrings, calves, quads, abs, all of this. When you train everything, you get way more of a caloric burn. So, things like that. It's counterintuitive, but yeah, eating more, and then you may want to include, like you're right about increasing leafy green intake. That can definitely help if you need to clear out your colon, right? Because of that insoluble fiber content, right? But in any case, yeah, so that the whole approach with the increasing the leafy greens and getting the extra weight off, that was, good. It's a smart move. Definitely, you gotta clear that colon out, and build that muscle mass. I'm 38, so I got 2 more years until I hit 40, right? So it's gonna be real interesting because I've been doing nothing but aging in reverse. You still eat an ounce a day? An ounce a day of what? What do I eat an ounce a day of? So yeah. Yeah, what do I eat an ounce a day of? I'm trying to think, should I prep anything else tonight? Actually, y'all gotta see this. So I'm gonna weigh this out. So this pineapple, 21 ounces. So this is like so this right here, 21 ounces. So like I would say to eat around, for pineapple, a good daily habit is about 12 to 16 ounces of pineapple a day. So this is like a little under two servings. A few more ounces of pineapple to get that 24, it would be like a solid 2 servings. Right? So like if you combine pineapple and like red grapes, that's actually a really good combination that I like to do. So I'll do like 12 ounces of pineapple and then 16 ounces of red grapes. All right, so let's see what else we got here. We got the honeydew. So 21 ounces of honeydew. So this right here is 1 meal of honeydew. So, well, actually not really. I mean, it could be. For me, it would be more like 1 meal would be like 32 ounces. But if I was to do like a small meal, so I would probably do like 22 ounces of honeydew and then 22 ounces of cantaloupe. Right? Now let's see. See, then this is 23, this is 22.8 ounces. And then this little one. Hey, boo boo, you want this bag right here? The 13 ounce one? I gotta put a couple more ounces in this one to get it to like a solid 16 ounce. But I think that like if you do 2 pounds of honeydew in a day, that'll get you like a quick 100 grams of carbs. I got some other fruit I gotta cut up though, but I gotta eat. How long into your journey did you start to figure things out? My first 2 years were a bit of a failure because my first 2 years I didn't have the educational background in plant-based nutrition that I have now. But as I learned, when I first went plant-based, I was thinking like an omnivore. And then, you know, almost everything I ate had like animal products in it, except for like the fruit and the greens. So when I cut out all the animal products, I was like massively under eating because I didn't know what to eat. I'm like, well, I guess I'll just eat like rice and beans. That's vegan, right? I can still eat my fruit because that's vegan. But, you know, I was under eating. I was a bit underfed. My diet was a bit lopsided. It's a little crude. But it was interesting when I went plant-based, I was pretty heavy. I was like around 190 pounds or something like that. Like my top weight was like 193 pounds. And I had a belly on me. At that point, my belly was like 30, I had a 34-inch waist, right? 32, 33, something like that. Like now, if my waist gets to like a 31, that's too much because my waist is usually like in between a 30 and a 29, right? But basically in my second year, and I went through like my education in plant-based nutrition, one of the biggest things that I learned is having like a really high carb diet. So my dietary fats, I had dropped my dietary fats down to like 15% of my macros. And it was phenomenal, right? And my dietary fats were things like cashews, chia seeds, and like avocado. But everything else was like just carbs. So leafy greens, fruit, and rice and beans and oats, right? That's what it was for the most part. And sweet potato. However, my knowledge base on chronic illness is way more elaborate than what it used to be. So it's a journey. I mean, I went plant-based. Damn, how many years ago? Is it like 11, 12 years? I don't know. No. I went plant-based like 2012, something like this. Because I launched Tribe by Noire. I didn't launch Tribe by Noire. I had a private launch in 2014. I had a private launch of Tribe by Noire in 2014. But I went plant-based 2 years before that. So yeah, like 2012. So it's 2024 now. So yeah, it's been like 12 years. I forgot how long it's been. Oh, do I still eat once a day? No. You mean the alternate day fasting? Yeah, I put a bit of a break on the alternate day fasting thing, just for some schedule stuff. Let's see. I never had a problem pooping. LOL. And I didn't poop more. I didn't poop more once I made the switch. I guess it's a woman thing. That's interesting. So I'm like kind of curious, if you put on the weight, where did it go? I'm kind of curious about that. But yeah, like I know like when people add more leafy greens to their diet, they lose weight because they clear more waste out of their colon. Oh, you know what? Actually, the green leafy vegetables have prebiotic fiber. So the prebiotic fiber in the leafy greens can actually improve your gut microbiome, and that can be more conducive to losing weight. So there's that, right? What was your reason for why you stopped eating meat? Yeah, so I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating meat for ethical reasons. So the woman I was dating at the time, she showed me a video of what happens to animals in animal agriculture. Well, she tried to show it to me. I looked away and I was like, nah, I can't say that. Because I knew if I saw it, I'm like, I can't, I'm gonna have to stop. She turned the volume up on the video. And it was the worst sound I've ever heard in my life. It's these horrible screams of cows, like pigs and cows and all of this in the video. And the sound was so haunting. I was like, I'm done. And right there, I had made up my mind. I'm not eating any more animal products. That's disgusting. The sound, like people talk about like how gruesome it looks. The sound to me was the most jarring part, the sound. These animals screaming in horror. It was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And I said, that's demonic. I don't want to participate in that in any way, shape, or form. If my diet is a product of that, I'm done. I'm done. No mas. And ever since then, that was it. That was it. Ever since then, that was it. I remember I went to McDonald's to get a McDonald's breakfast, right? Yeah, I used to eat McDonald's. My diet was trash, okay? Before my diet was not. So I went to McDonald's. I said, you know what? I can get pancakes. There's no meat in that. I didn't think about the butter and whatnot. I get the pancakes, and I forget they put sausage on the plate. I had this internal battle with the sausage, not because I wanted to eat it, it was because I didn't want to waste food. Like I don't like to waste food. So if there's food on my plate, I have to finish all the food on my plate. I don't like to waste food. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at this sausage. I can't give it to somebody because I can't just go up to somebody and be like, hey, you want some sausage? They don't know me. They're like, I don't know. They're gonna take sausage from a stranger. And that's kind of weird. Why is a stranger in McDonald's giving his sausage away. What's wrong with the sausage? Right? Like nobody orders the food and we're gonna give away the sausage. And then I'm like, well, I can't throw it in the garbage because like that's a piece of a living being's body. So just throw it in the garbage like it's just trash. It's like disrespectful to the animal that was killed for that. So I didn't want to throw it in the garbage either. I didn't want to eat it. I couldn't give it to anybody. And I didn't want to throw it in the garbage. This is what I was going through in my head. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I ate the pancakes and I didn't put the butter on the pancakes. I just put syrup. I put the maple syrup, but I didn't put the butter because I'm like, ooh, dairy. That comes from animals. So I thought I was being slick by not putting the butter on the pancakes, forgetting they put dairy in the pancakes when they make the pancakes. But I'm new to the journey, right? I'm not thinking about that. So I'm over here thinking, well, you know what? I'm slick, right? I'm not putting the butter on the pancakes. I'm just syrup in the pancakes. It's just bread, and I'm not gonna eat the sausage. But I don't know what to do with it now because I forgot to tell him not to put the sausage on the plate. So what I did is I just left the sausage on the tray with the plate and I left because I was running late for work. I had to get to work. So I just left it there. I didn't know what to do with it. So I was like, I'm just gonna leave it here. And if somebody wants the sausage, they can have it. But I gotta go to work. I can't go over this in my head anymore. And the interesting thing is that was like the last time I went to McDonald's. That was probably like, I would never forget that moment in my life because that was the last time I went to McDonald's. I didn't feel comfortable going there anymore. So now my last memory of McDonald's is me struggling over a piece of sausage on the plate and me just never going back to McDonald's. Because I'm like, I can't eat anything on the menu. It's dairy and everything. So I can't, so there's no vegan options. I can't do it, right? So what I used to do in the morning or before I go to work was I would just eat fruit. I would just start my mornings eating fruit. And that was that. And I never went to McDonald's. I got another McDonald's breakfast again. I feel like that story is kind of stupid, but it is what it is. That's my story. Oh, you said belly and hips, that's where it went? Oh, okay, got you. Do you think wheat could be healthy as a whole grain? Bulgur in a salad or soup? There's a degree of health benefit to it. I'm not a fan of eating wheat. The exceptions for wheat for me is Hamut, because it's like this ancient Egyptian wheat berries, right? So it's a bit different, but generally, because so many people have like some type of gluten intolerance, and it's so common. So I'm like, with the gluten and the wheat, I don't know. So the gluten is like a protein composite found in wheat, and it's like a sticky residue that can build up on your intestinal lining, and it can gum up the microvilli that lines your intestines. So then the villi, the microvilli, kind of latch onto your food and pull nutrients from your food. It's like these little fingers in your intestines. Weird looking, right? But basically, if you pack them down to the sides of your intestines with this gluten that builds up in your intestines, you can end up getting like IBS and leaky gut and all those type of stuff. You can get real digestive issues. So people have like a small gluten intolerance, and then it gets bigger and bigger as they accumulate more gluten in their intestines, and then they get crazy stuff like eczema. They get all kind of rashes and stuff like celiacs, like just wild stuff. So for me, and reversing chronic illnesses and things like that is a big part of what I do. So with wheat, I'm like, it's not inherently negative. It's not going to destroy your health, but why take the risk? So that's how I feel about it. I started having a little fluffy look. Yeah, you can get a little fluffy. Yeah, you can get a little bit. I value heavy kettlebell swings. You know what? So what I used to do is I would put 3 minutes on my cardio, like high intensity cardio, with a kettlebell. And I have like old videos that I used to do this out by the pool when I was living in Georgia. You put 3 minutes on the clock, you do kettlebell swings. And I had like a 42 kilo kettlebell, right? It was either 42 or 32 kilos. And I would do kettlebell swings for 3 minutes straight, just as many reps as I could in 3 minutes. And that was my cardio. My high intensity cardio was 3 minutes. One set, 3 minutes, right? As many reps as I can. That right there is a nutty workout. That's intense. So yeah, big shout out to kettlebell swings. Oh, hold on, what? I used to work at the slaughterhouse. You said they don't scream, they moo, but they don't scream. I actually feel bad now that I look back on it. Yeah, I mean, I characterize it as screaming, right? I mean, but it was cows and pigs, right? So I mean, you say, well, pigs don't scream, they squeal, and pigs and cows don't scream, they moo. In my mind, it just sounded like screaming in animal dialect, right? It was atrocious. So you went plant-based after that. That's like what did it for you. Working at a slaughterhouse, I can only imagine the horrors you've seen. Lord. Bless up, man. God damn. I have indulged in red grapes and pineapples. I have indulged. Yeah, I had red grapes today. I didn't have any pineapple today, actually. Oh, say, do you think too many mixed nuts can become unhealthy? Yeah, you can overdo it, yeah, for sure. Can you stop muscle loss while juicing? Yeah. You know what's interesting? A good way to stop muscle loss is doing light resistance training, like short, light resistance training. So just lightly working the muscle will cause your body to retain it. It's a good recovery technique to preserve muscle. And you know, Coach, we had a call last year. I'm the JW girl from Florida. True. Yeah, my mom's show was. I remember you. Yeah, I remember we talked. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Yeah, whenever I meet Jehovah's Witnesses, I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, my mom's Jehovah's Witness. Yeah, big shout out to you. I remember. Where's a good place to get lots of fruit for cheap? I spend $50 a day at Publix. Yo, $50 a day at Publix. What are you getting? You know what has really good affordable fruit? I don't know if you have this by you, but Aldi. Aldi and Kroger. That story is freaking hilarious. Yeah. Like, oh, why did you stop going to McDonald's? I'm like, I don't know, man. There was this piece of sausage. I didn't know what to do with it, so I just got up and left. I didn't go back. That's my story, you know? Like, look, man, I'm done with McDonald's. I don't like this. I don't like the way they sit on my spirit. I didn't let go. I used to love Buffalo Wild Wings. I cut out Buffalo Wild Wings. I used to get Domino's pizzas. I would eat the whole pizza. And I would have like the side of cheesy breadsticks, cinnamon sticks. This is how I used to eat. That's how I got to like 193 pounds. And the only reason why I could get away with eating like that is because how active I was working in several different gyms. So I was walking a minimum of like 10 miles a day. So I can get away with like this garbage diet. I remember ice cream sandwiches. Yeah, I gave up so much stuff. My diet now, like I don't even eat like mock meats like tofurkey and stuff like that. It's night and day how my diet is now. And I used to have all kind of joint pain and chronic headaches and all types of stuff. Seasonal allergies and I had all kind of issues. I had issues that I didn't even realize I even had that were health issues. I just thought it was normal because I got so used to being like that. I accidentally reversed a lot of my chronic issues, health issues, because I didn't go plant-based for health reasons. It's difficult to consume enough fruit that the liver and bloodstream get access to enough glucose, fructose before pooping for weight gain unless you're juicing all day and eating dried fruit. Pooping and eating dried fruit. There's way too much fiber in fruit. It takes the body a long time to even get access to the glucose and fructose in raw fruit. And this is coming from a 37-year-old who dropped 80 pounds on a fruitarian diet. Yeah, that's weird. You cut crazy weight. Well, yeah, that's why I think like with the leafy greens thing, it could be the insoluble fiber clearing out your colon, and then prebiotic fiber that improving your gut microbiome. The interesting thing about fruit tends to have a high amount of soluble fiber. So you have soluble fiber and you have insoluble fiber. Insoluble fiber, it doesn't dissolve in water. It just moves straight through your digestive tract. Soluble fiber dissolves in water and turns into like a gelatinous substance that coats your stomach and whatnot, right? And so that soluble fiber is really good for like neutralizing like GERD issues with acid reflux and all of this. It keeps the food in your stomach for a long enough time to be able to thoroughly break the food down so that your gut can pull nutrients from it. It does all this stuff, right? Regulates the acid and enzymes in your gut. So yeah, fruit is also very watery, right? So you get like this influx of water and soluble fiber, right? So you get like a little food baby, right? It flushes your colon out typically by flooding your colon with like water and vitamin C and whatnot. However, there could be elements in your life where it may not work out that way. It really depends. But one thing I realized is people's biggest issue with a fruitarian diet is they don't eat enough. So if you want to make a fruitarian diet work, generally speaking, eat more food or gradually increase the amount of food that you eat. And that tends to be the key. Like eating less on a fruitarian diet is not a good idea. Like you're not really going to get better results eating less on a fruitarian diet. veteran fruitarians be lean as hell and be eating like 700 grams of carbs a day. Like craziness. Let's see. All right, Miss D, have a good night's rest. Appreciate you tapping in. Let's see. I've been eating about 5 pounds of fruit a day since our consultation. I've been remembering my dreams more. Oh, you've been getting a good sleep. Yeah. That's right. What were the most exotic fruits you tasted? Egg fruit and zapatilla. Are you asking me if I've eaten egg fruit? Actually, yeah, I have. I thought egg fruit and zapatilla is the same thing. I've seen some on Miami Fruit, but they're pretty costly. $17 for one of them? I don't know. That thing, $17 for one, I don't know. He's at 193 pounds. How tall are you? I'm 5'9". I'm not that tall. He said, wait till you hit 40. That's right. She's like, well, you was at 37 years old. Wait till you get to 40. Your body's gonna be like, all right, new rules. Let's see. Yeah, so what's my name? You know what I'd be kind of curious about, actually? I kind of want, well, I don't know if that's possible. Like, people ask me, like, is it possible to eat too much fruit? It's possible, but it's extremely difficult. It's kind of like, you know, can you drink too much water? Technically, you could. It's gonna be real hard to do, but I mean, you're gonna have to really deliberately try to do it, but it's gonna be real difficult to do. It's forcing it down. I mean, I don't know why you would want to do that, but yeah. So yeah, basically, I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about tonight. Right? Carb cutting is for suckers. We don't do that here. See, you see, I poured that I soaked the oats, and I filled it up to the 12-ounce line, which is right here, and I soaked it. Now you see it's up here. Y'all want to see me prep my overnight oats? Do y'all want to see that? Let me know if y'all want to see. Do I have another? Yeah, I do. Okay. Y'all want to see me prep overnight oats? My overnight oats? Y'all want to see how I do it? Let's see. What about dark chocolate? In South Florida, produce spot. Yo, Florida, man. People be having it popping in Florida when it comes to the fruit. what are some of the best fruits to eat right now that are in season? It depends on where you are, right? I've seen grapes are starting to come back. I mean, you can't go wrong with the berries. The berries are always in. Peaches. I saw cherries too. Those are in. Honeydew, cantaloupe if you can get it. I've been getting some good honeydew, some good cantaloupe. Citrus fruits, grapefruit, pomelo, tangerines. PCOS, PID, 6 months pregnant, looking, enlarged fibroids, uterus, early menopause, and infertility, turning 40 in 2 years. And guess what? Fruit still was the only healer. True. I mean, yeah, it can heal you. It's definitely healing. That is true. Let's see. Look at we having a debate back and forth. We're getting spicy in the comments. All right, let's see. You just reminded me seedless grapes that are organic or seeded grapes that aren't organic. Oh, wait. You just reminded me seedless grapes that are organic or seeded grapes that aren't organic. Literally, I struggle with this buying grapes. So for me, I default to the grapes that are organic. The seeds is a second order thing, but if I'm gonna choose, I'm always gonna go with the organic because I don't want to be eating grapes that are loaded up with all kind of crazy pesticides. I don't want that. Yellow watermelon. Yellow watermelon tastes better than red watermelon. Interesting. With the 40 plus age, our body doesn't process carbs the same way because of menopause and becoming insulin resistant. Well, you throwing menopause in there. Not every woman who turns 40 hits menopause. I know women, they didn't hit menopause until like 65. But interestingly enough, menopause manifest issues of insulin resistance, right? So one of the biggest issues, the reason why women struggle to lose weight with menopause is because of the insulin resistance. So actually the interesting thing is with menopause, if you eat more fruits, you can actually help to improve your insulin sensitivity and counteract the menopause symptoms. It'll take a while. For some people, it takes a bit longer than others. It really depends on the amount of lifestyle stress and all of that kind of stuff. However, if you increase your leafy green intake along with the fruit, the leafy greens help to improve your insulin sensitivity quicker. So that could lead you to drop the body fat. Well, you say you didn't hit menopause till 55? It also depends too, like if you're yes, you want to see? Oh yeah, that's right. Let me know about the rolled oats if y'all want to see me do my old fashioned rolled oats. Hold on a second. Let me get the bowl out. Put ones in the chat if y'all want to see that. And then I'll end the stream with that. Because I don't want to keep y'all up all night. We like 2 hours in. Where's that bowl? Where's my white bowl? Oh, that's where it is. It's in here. All right. All right, let's see. Get some ones in the chat if y'all want to see the prep for the old-fashioned oats. All right, let's see. All right, we got some ones in the chat. I gotta tell you though, for Forever Faithful, she is a bruja. If there's anybody who knows about how to reverse all type of chronic issues and whatnot, it's definitely her. My lady B. She got that ancestral knowledge. All right, so I'm draining the oats. I kind of want to let this drain a little bit more though. I got to clean out this sink. I got all type of fruit peels and everything in the sink. Hold on. Oop. Oop. I was about to make a mess just now. All right. All right, so I'm gonna prep the old-fashioned oats. I'm gonna do it since we got some ones in the chat. Hey, Boo Boo, do you need anything out the kitchen? You hungry? I got all of this mess in here in the kitchen. All right, y'all, let me just clear this out. That honeydew was huge. That thing was like almost 3 pounds. The average honeydew is like 2 pounds. Well, not really. I think honeydews often tend to be a bit larger than cantaloupe. Cantaloupe is usually like around 2 pounds. Honeydew could actually be a bit larger. But I love honeydew, especially when it's nice and soft and ripe and sweet. Honeydew is amazing. Battery low? All right. See, I should have been cleaning up as I prep. Should have been cleaning up. Yeah, we could let that drain out a little bit more. Hold on, wait, what? I've had lymphedema since I was 9? Lymphedema at 9? So wait, you've had it your whole entire life, like consistently? I gotta hear about this. Oh, what's that one? The only spicy I do is on my food. Oh, what's this? I don't do spicy. If that's the case, you wouldn't do calls. You would just give the same plan to everyone. Who do calls? Who can't do calls to everyone? Oh, let's see. Let's see. Coach, I prep my fruits and drinks while watching your live. I'm ready for tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I gotta switch my earphone. Hold on. Yeah, that's why I always say, like, you know, with health issues, there are no magic bullets, right? You have things, there's certain things that work most of the time, or almost all the time. But, you know, even those things, you may need to switch things up a little bit, right? From thing to thing. So this is why I don't personally You know, you can't give the same diet plan to everybody. So like even like from person to person, I have a basic methodology that I use, but it is it's more geared towards the person. So when I make a diet plan for somebody, it's body composition. So like overall body fat percentage, height, weight, age, waist to hip ratio, symptoms, whether it be gas, bloating, food allergies, what medications they're on. There's a lot of things that get factored in. You know, childhood obesity versus not, sleep quality. So on a scale of 1 to 5, what's your sleep quality like? And things like that. So there's a lot of other things that come into play, right? So yeah, sure, eat more fruit. But there are some more nuances, right? Like what fruits do you eat, right? So for example, I may say, hey, eat 32 ounces of honeydew, but I wouldn't say eat 32 ounces of pineapple. And the reason why is because pineapple is not so mild. Honeydew is a bit more mild, and it's a soft, more soothing food. Pineapple is a bit sharp. It's really tangy because it's got these little crystals in it. So like if you eat too much pineapple, when I say too little crystals in it, I don't mean like glass necessarily. But like if you've ever eaten too much pineapple, you know that it kind of stings your tongue a little bit. Like your tongue get a little irritated because it's a lot, right? So, you know, certain things, like I wouldn't say, hey, you know, sit down and eat 32 ounces of apples, because then you'll be like crazy gassy and bloated from all the apple pectin. So certain things you can eat a lot of, and then certain things not so much, right? So it really depends on what kind of food you're talking about. Bananas, I never really tell people, you know, hey, you know, and usually when I make a diet plan, it's bananas like the first food you eat. It's one of the first foods that you eat, but it's usually a thing that is better for you to eat earlier in the day as opposed to later in the day. So being that like bananas are very energy rich, it's a good like early morning energy rich food. And then everything else kind of gets a bit more simplified from there. Apples are usually a food that I have people eat more so like in the mid or late afternoon, right? So you'd eat like anywhere from 8 to 12 ounces of apples, right? There are exceptions though. So for example, if you juice apples, you can juice apples real early morning. That's different. Right, but that apple pectin, people tend to get a big reaction from all the apple pectin because that'll kind of get you a little gassy there. All right, so let me go ahead and do these oats. So I'm gonna show y'all, and I try to get every single oat in there. All right, so that's what I'm plucking into there now. So the first thing, I dump this in here. All right. And then after that, I'm gonna get my tablespoon. I'm gonna get my tablespoon and hemp seeds. So I get my hemp seeds here. And I do about 3 tablespoons. And this is like my extra 16 grams of fat or something like that. It is 16, 18, something like that. And I'm a sugar addict, so I like to get my raw sugar in there. You can use agave also if you want. So I put about 2 tablespoons in there. You know what I'm saying? Because I like it to taste absolutely amazing when I put that in there. And then I do powdered peanuts and glutamine. Well, powdered peanuts, that's the one that I use, and the glutamine. So put my 2 tablespoons of that in there. Where's the lid? Okay. Because I like that peanutty flavor. So I'll put that in there. Glutamine is actually really good for recovery. So muscle recovery, muscle growth, and gut health. So actually glutamine is a big gut health, is a big gut microbiome and digestive tract builder. So like when people come to me with gut health issues like leaky gut and whatnot, glutamine is a supplement that I often put in the plan. Yeah, so that's it. Put that glutamine in there. And now, I get my teaspoon. We do sea salt. So I do like a teaspoon of sea salt. And then I do my Ceylon cinnamon. I do a teaspoon of that. Cinnamon is really good for blood sugar control and improving insulin sensitivity. So that's a good thing to add. And you could also put cacao powder in here too. So I have cacao, but I got a lot of cinnamon, and I'm a big cinnamon fan. So I'm like, let me go ahead and ride this cinnamon for a little bit. I was on the cacao heavy for a while. And then I'm a soy boy. So I'll put in some soy milk, and I'll put in about 8 ounces of soy milk. And I'll measure it out in this jar. I'm not going to go all the way up to the 8-ounce line, but close enough. All right. Which cap am I going to use? That's the one with the curry. Okay. I don't want to use the curry cap. Shake that up. The reason why I do that is because there's little oats left in the jar. So I get them out like that. So now there's no more oats in the jar because I want every last oat. All right. No cooking required. And that's like super easy. So you can make a few of these. Like if you want to do like overnight oat prep, real easy. You can do like 3 of these and just bang them out in the mixing bowl. So I clean off my trusty wooden mixing spoon. Just give me a second. All right, boom. Let me switch my earbud out. We're getting some battery issues here. Let's say this thing interrupt my music. They interrupt my music. What accent is that? Who says music? All right. Mix all of this in here. All right, so y'all see that? I can't tip it over too much because I don't want it to spill out. But I mix it in until there's no powderiness. Get a nice thorough mixing in there. And you can throw like berries and things like that in here too. You can also throw banana slices in here. So like if you don't want to use raw sugar, because you're like, ooh, sugar, it's processed. And you can, ooh, sugar, it's processed. You can use maple syrup, you can use agave, or you can do banana slices. Okay. What you can also do too is you can slice up bananas or just take bananas and throw them in a blender with a little bit of agave or maple syrup, just a little bit, and then some plant-based milk, like the 8 ounces of the plant-based milk there. And you can blend it up and then pour that into the overnight oats and mix that in. So you can do that too. So you'll get like a banana overnight oat joint. So you don't have to do the sugar like I do. But that's just like a thing. I've done that for the last several years with the whole sugar thing. All right. So this is my last container of this size. I'm going to pour that in there. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. Let me see if I can show this in the camera here. One second. I don't know if I can see the... Yeah, see, this thing is heavy. All right. Here we go. So now I have 2 overnight oats, because I actually have one that I already prepped. So now I got 2. There's my bag of chopped kale. And that's it, real simple. Let's see, what are your opinions on starches and wheat like rice? Oh, starches and wheat like rice, potatoes, and wheat? What are my opinions on them? I mean, I like rice. My favorite rice, to be honest, is basmati rice. But like wild rice or forbidden rice, black rice, those are good too. And then potatoes, at the top of my list as far as potatoes is sweet potato. Sweet potato, that's my jam. Let's see. Is it, do you carb backload your carbs or eat them all day? What is carb backloading? Carb backload. Do you carb backload your carbs? Yes, I eat my carbs all day, but I prioritize carbohydrate consumption probably earlier in the day. Unlike today, where I basically just ate carbs all day. But yeah, I don't know what you mean by backloading though. You mean backload as opposed to you eat all your carbs at night? I don't do that. So like, for example, I'm not gonna like avoid eating carbs in the morning or afternoon and then eat carbs at night. I wouldn't do that. If anything, I do the reverse. On no medication, had an accident playing basketball and had damage done to lymph nodes in my left leg. From there, it went to my right leg. BMI is 29. Never had a problem with obesity growing up. That's interesting. So you had like, yeah, lymphedema as a child. So like an injury from lymphedema. That's really interesting. I would have to ask you, like, I would have to get way more information from you about like what you're eating and where the lymphedema mostly shows up. Like it's on the right leg, but do you have like any other lymphatic inflammation anywhere else in your body? Swollen lymph nodes in the neck or behind the ear or anything like that? Are you dealing with high blood pressure or any other like any other like additional side effects or things like that? I don't want to put all your business out there, but yeah, I mean, I would be really interested in knowing what all else is going on. What are your thoughts on glutamine and creatine together? It's a great combination. I don't put creatine in my food particularly. I put creatine in like pre-workouts. So like I make my own pre-workout. So I'll put like citrulline, taurine, and creatine in it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a great combination. Creatine and glutamine together. I think that's a great combination to drink before bed at night. So you can do like, you can do a drink where you do at night before you go to bed. You can do like 3 to 6 grams of citrulline malate, 10 grams of glutamine, and 5 grams of creatine monohydrate in like 2 ounces of lime juice, and the rest is water. And you can add like a drop of liquid stevia if you want some sweetness in there. And that's really good for like, in maximizing blood flow, and gut health improvements and skeletal muscle mass recovery overnight. That's a good one. Coach is the best. He helped me through so many health issues and continue to do so. I appreciate the shout out. Much love. It's good to see you in the stream. That's what I'm talking about. That's right. Big shout out to you. It's gonna be a good year for you. Juju gonna be killing the game this summer. Did you notice more energy with cacao? I asked because it has a little caffeine in it. I noticed a little more energy when I added it to my buckwheat porridge. You know, interestingly enough, hold on a second. I look kind of jacked on camera. Do I look like that for real? Look at this. Do I look like that for real? I don't mean to. I don't want to. I'm like, oh, I look a little beefy right now. I don't know what's going on. Nah. Yeah, I don't really notice much of a caffeine effect from cacao. I don't know. It's been a while since I've had the cacao, but I've never felt like the cacao in particular gave me energy. You know what's really interesting is on the days that I really carb up, caffeine doesn't really I don't really need caffeine. The only time I really need caffeine, well, I don't really ever need caffeine. I mainly would feel like I need caffeine if I cut my carbs, like accidentally or something like that. Because I don't ever try to cut my carbs deliberately. But like if I underate just because I didn't plan well, I didn't meal prep or anything like that, then yeah, that's when I feel like the effects of the caffeine a little bit more profoundly. But like today, or even the day before yesterday, I didn't really notice much of a difference. And like, when I make my own pre-workout, actually, I put guarana powder in it. So that's like just straight caffeine, guarana powder. I don't really feel much of a difference from it. I don't really feel like, oh, it gives me a ton of energy. I don't really feel like that. I still put it in anyway because I kind of like the taste. But yeah, I don't notice much of an energy uptick from cacao. Oh yeah, fats in the morning, carbs at night. Yeah, I don't really do fats in the morning, no. Let's see, both legs, no high blood pressure, hands and underarms, no high blood pressure, no diabetes. I've had an iron deficiency, anemia for a very long time, but I recently have had normal labs. Huh. Yeah, the lymphedema thing, that's really interesting. Because so you don't have any other like accommodating like negative side effects or anything. That's really interesting. I don't know, because I don't have many people who have like that long-term lymphedema that's so localized like that. But in the lower legs, it sounds like a blood flow issue, right? You know what? On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rank your ankle mobility? That's a good one. Because you may be able to really make progress and reverse it by improving your ankle mobility. You're looking very beefy, no Diddy. Oh no, the no Diddy thing. Yo, imagine how it feels to be Diddy and then hearing people say no Diddy. Diddy like to party, and you gotta tell him no. Is beet powder good for pre-workout and better than caffeine before workout? I don't know. I've juiced beets before. I've never had beet powder. So I don't know. That's a good question. Like beets are not really a stimulant, whereas like caffeine is. Caffeine has like certain it increases adrenal output from your adrenal glands. Whereas beets is just like, it causes vascular dilation, so you get an increase in nitric oxide in your bloodstream. So they're very different things. So one is more of like a precursor to increased levels of arginine in the body. Caffeine is more of a stimulant. It's a different thing. Like increases in arginine is not really gonna feel like a stimulant. As far as like whether one is better for the other, I think that beets is better for blood flow. So if you wanted to increase blood flow, I would go with the beets. All right, y'all. It's going on 10 o'clock at night. Damn, I gotta take a shower and get to bed. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in and asking questions, coming to hang out with me. Absolutely. It's been another great stream here in the kitchen. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing more of these, making different recipes. You know what I mean? Be trying new foods out in the kitchen and talking about stuff. So it's gonna be fun. So until the next Monday Night Raw, I will catch y'all. Take care, okay? Be safe, take care of yourselves.